Hello and welcome. You're watching India Decides, our special broadcast on the big Phase 3 election day. 93 constituencies, 11 states going to polls today. Of course, it's a big battle. You have big faces in the fray from Amit Shah, Supriya Sule, Dimple Yadav, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Digvijay Singh. We have a team of reporters spread across the country. And joining me now, Amritanshi, Nihal, Jitendra, Radhika Ramaswamy, Prabhakar and Himanshu as well. We'll be joined by all of our reporters, spread across the length and breadth of the country. But going across to you first, Amritanshi, key seats to watch out for in Madhya Pradesh. You have Digvijay Singh, former Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Jyotiraditya Scindia in the fray. What are some of the key contests and how does voter turnout look like to you?
Like around 30% was the voter turnout till 11 a.m. and it was a good voter turnout comparing to the last two phases in Madhya Pradesh. As you can see, the temperature is right now 42 degrees, but people are here, they are coming to vote. Right now, I'm present in the Guna Lok Sabha constituency, and Guna is like the place from where Jyotiraditya Scindia, who has having a royal family background, and also he has been contesting from here. Though in 2019 he contested from different party, the Congress party, and he was defeated by KP Yadav, and now he is like contesting from BJP, and he has been like right now roaming around all over the constituency, and he's seeing that how can be the voter turnout much be increased, because there was a sense of tension in between the political parties, because the voting percentage in Madhya Pradesh was not much great. But now you can the queues were longer in the morning, but now the queues are getting shorter just because of this the season. Its temperature is getting much higher. That's the main reason. But still, people are coming. The issues that people are voting here are like the unemployment. Unemployment is the biggest issue on which people are voting here.
Okay.
Though the voter turnout is quite good comparing to the last two last two phases, but still the fate of this Lok Sabha constituency we'll all know on 4th of June. But Scindia is trying to carry out his royal family pride through these elections, and he's running running here and there with all his family, and
Absolutely.
he has planned election campaign trail himself, and he is contesting from different party this time. So it's a big election for the Scindia family and the royal family, in particularly the Guna constituency.
Absolutely, Guna is certainly an exciting contest there. The entire Gwalior Chambal belt, in fact, is extremely interesting, considered to be a BJP stranglehold. Thanks very much, Amritanshi, for that. Going across to you now, Radhika. Of course, Gujarat, extremely interesting. We saw almost like a roadshow in the morning by the Prime Minister and Amit Shah. But where you are, of course, Amit Shah started as a Karyakarta there. Now he's eyeing a return. Do you see much of a contest there in Gujarat?
Well, as far as Gandhinagar constituency is concerned, people are only talking about margins, not really about who is winning and who is losing.
Yes.
So that's what this constituency is all about. And similar story in other constituencies as well. 25 constituencies going to polls, one and only phase as far as Gujarat is concerned. Yes, as you pointed out, both Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah doing a roadshow of sorts, speaking and interacting with voters, waving at voters, as they cast their vote. Both of them part of Gandhinagar constituency. Of course, Amit Shah being the high-profile candidate from this constituency, also putting up a big fight against Sonal Patel. In fact, it's very interesting because when we spoke to a lot of the voters, of course, they've been raving and praising about the BJP stronghold and how this is forte and forte of Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah. Many of them not even knowing who they are, who the opposing candidate is. So, one can only, guess the result. But again, to speak about Congress per se, of course, this is BJP's forte. They've dominated 2014, 2019, won in huge margins, every seat won by them. But Congress trying to put up a fight. They are trying to, hoping for an anti-incumbency sentiment to set in. There is Kshatriya problem as well. There is a lot of anger as far as Kshatriya community is concerned against BJP over the remark made by a big leader of the BJP as well. I'll try and speak to some of the voters here. Aap aa jaiye. हाँ हाँ, आप क्या कौन से मुद्दे पे आप वोट कर रहे हैं इस बार?
कौन सा मुद्दा?
हाँ
भारत सरकार भाई
नहीं नहीं,
बीजेपी।
किसको नहीं पूछ रही, क्या मुद्दे हैं, क्या क्या इश्यूज है इधर?
इस बार इशू में ये है कि इस बार जो रोड का विकास इधर हमारे एरिया में जो हुआ और हमारा जो एरिया है वो रीडेवलपमेंट में गया है, तो ये बीजेपी सरकार की तरफ से बहुत अच्छा काम चल रहा है।
ओके, आपके क्या क्या इश्यूज है इधर? हाँ, मुद्दे क्या है?
वही रीडेवलपमेंट का है, एक ही है हमारा,
सब एक ही है।
कमदार नगर में, कमदार नगर में।
Okay, all right. So they are speaking about redevelopment. You know, it's very interesting how, you know, most of the voters here speak highly of, for obvious reasons, of the sons of the soil, Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah. Come
Yes.
what may, you know, we also saw several of the, you know, voters crying and becoming emotional and so on. But yes, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party allying together. This time, Congress 24 seats, you know, Aam Aadmi Party 2 seats. They're fighting this battle together,
Right.
trying to sort of, you know, hoping for an, you know, a voter fatigue of sorts. But, you know, the fate will obviously be sealed on June 4th. But at the moment, the voting has subsided in this particular constituency because of the heat and the lunch hours. But we did see long queues, 24% voting done in Gujarat till 11 a.m.
Radhika, thanks very much for that update. Our senior colleague Himanshu is also with us. So, Himanshu sir, Agra, you know, earlier was a Congress bastion, but in the past 2 decades at least, okay, we seem to have lost Himanshu there, but Nihal and Jitendra continue to be with us. So, Nihal, going across to you first, in Karnataka, the entire poll discourse this time has been, you know, dominated by the Prajwal Revanna case. How do you see this playing out for the alliance, for the JDS-BJP alliance, though the BJP, of course, has distanced itself from it?
See, normally, if you see, people don't vote on emotional issues. So that's why BJP and the NDA both are confident. But here in Karnataka, voting is happening at 14 seats, and almost everywhere by 11 a.m. What we have come to know, 1/4, yani 25% voters have turned out. You see, along with me, these are the 2 first-time voters. They are very excited. First time you are going to vote, so. How do you prepare yourself?
I don't prepare anything, but I set in my mind to what is the benefits from the to vote for them, and educational purpose, society purpose, and the employment. And we went for searching jobs. We went other states or other nation. So we want the jobs in our native place. So it will help to our future, and we spend more time with our family. It very helpful to us.
And while pressing the button, choosing the candidate, what will be in your mind? What questions?
Development and employment and education, everything, sir, everything.
So these are the first-time voters. Here, 2 former chief ministers are also there in the fray. Former chief minister of Karnataka, Jagdish Shettar, he is contesting from Belgavi. Former chief minister of another former chief minister, Bhomai, is contesting. So now we have to see voting percentage is around 25% by 11. It's quite encouraging. See, now I can see many women are also turning up to vote. My camera person Govind Murthy once pans the camera towards his right. You can see many women are there. So in the second half, mostly in the rural areas, people turn out to vote to vote. So here we are expecting that in a short while it will increase. Voting percentage will increase here in the rural areas because most of the areas where the voting is taking place, polling is taking place today, is mostly the rural areas, and here it is expected that in the second half more voters would turn out and they will cast their vote.
Absolutely, Nihal, and it was quite impressive to see those long queues earlier in the morning behind you. But Jitendra is also with us. Jitendra is joining us from the hot seat of Maharashtra, Baramati. The entire focus is on Baramati this time. So Jitendra, जहाँ पर आप हैं बारामती में, वहाँ पर बहुत इंटरेस्ट है सुप्रिया सुले वर्सेस सुनेत्रा पवार, और कहीं ना कहीं देखा जाए तो एक सबसे बड़ी हॉट सीट है ये, और पवार फैमिली के लिए और शरद पवार के लिए प्रेस्टीज बैटल है.
Right, Vedant, let me give you an overview of the elections in Maharashtra.
11 seats are going to polls in this third phase, and out of these 11 seats, 7 seats are from Western Maharashtra, which is also known as Sugar Belt. So from these 7 seats, the most prominent seat is of Baramati, where there is a contest between a daughter and daughter-in-law. Daughter is Supriya Sule, who is a sitting MP from Baramati and who has won election 3 times earlier. And she is being challenged by Sunetra Pawar, who is wife of Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. So there is a fierce battle. On one hand, Supriya Sule is banking upon the emotional connect, and she's also expecting that there will be a sympathy factor because her father's party split last year. Ajit Pawar defected and made another group, another faction, and that faction was recognized as the real NCP, and also the election symbol was given to Ajit Pawar's faction. So this time Supriya Sule has to contest election with a new symbol and with a new party name. Her party name is Nationalist Congress Party, in bracket Sharad Chandra Pawar. While on the other hand, Sunetra Pawar is being supported by not only NCP but also other alliance partners like Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena and the BJP. Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself campaigned for Sunetra Pawar 3 days back. He came in this region and he spoke against Sharad Pawar, and his one statement got quite viral where he said that एक भटकती आत्मा पिछले 45 सालों से जो है महाराष्ट्र में किसी को भी अपना मुख्यमंत्री का कार्यकाल पूरा नहीं करने दे रही है. So he referred to Sharad Pawar as a wandering soul, as a भटकती आत्मा, and that was replied by Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar retorted by saying that if I am a bhatakti atma, then my soul is wandering just for people of Maharashtra, for farmers of Maharashtra. So this kind of war of words was being witnessed during these recent election campaigns. So as far as voting is concerned, since morning there was good enthusiasm among the electorates.
Yes.
I saw people queuing up outside polling booths before the actual voting began, but as the day progresses, right now the temperature is 38 degrees Celsius. So the people are fearing that there will be a decline in the voting percentage.
Jitendra, thanks very much for joining us with that comprehensive update there. So Baramati, very interesting, and as Jitendra is pointing out, a battle of jibes as well. But let's now listen in to Digvijay Singh, who spoke exclusively to NDTV. Well, remember, Madhya Pradesh, he's one of the big faces on the ground in the fray as well. So let's listen in.
हमारे साथ इस वक्त दिग्विजय सिंह जी हैं और अभी मतदान करने जाएंगे, देर रात लौटे हैं. सर, आपकी सीट पर अभी क्या रिपोर्ट है, क्या लोग आ रहे हैं मतदान करने, क्योंकि हर जगह 10-12% के आसपास
अच्छा वोटिंग हो रहा है.
और सर, इस बार क्या उम्मीदें हैं, क्योंकि काफ़ी सारा आपको देखा है कि आपने ज़मीनी मुद्दों पर ही सबसे ज़्यादा अपने क्षेत्र में बात की है, लेकिन और कई सारी बातें इधर हो रही हैं, ख़ास करके बीच चुनाव के बीच में मटन चिकन सब की बात होने लगी.
राष्ट्रीय मुद्दों पर मुख्य प्रधानमंत्री जी बातें नहीं करना चाहते तो क्या करें.
और जैसा मैंने पहले भी पूछा था आपसे कि ईवीएम पर आपने सवाल उठाया, लेकिन ईवीएम से ही मतदान होना है, तो इस बारे में आपको आश्वस्त हैं?
देखिए, बात यह है ना, मेरा भरोसा पहले था ना आज है, लेकिन हमारी कोशिश ये है कि हम लोग 60% हमारे पक्ष में से अधिक मतदान कराएं, और उसके लिए हमारी यही कोशिश है कि हर बूथ पे 100 वोट मुझे बढ़ाना है.
मेरे 2 छोटे और सवाल हैं. पहले 2 चरणों में लगभग 1 करोड़ ऐसे मतदाता थे जो घरों से नहीं निकले. आप लोग अपील करेंगे कि मतदाता घरों से आएं, और इतनी उदासीनता क्यों?
निश्चित आना चाहिए.
सर, एक आखिरी सवाल मेरा ये था कि जो सवाल उठते हैं, तो कल जैसे 1 करोड़ रुपए दिखे, तो ये कहीं चिंता की बात है झारखंड में आप लोगों के लिए, क्योंकि जो मंत्री हैं वो वहाँ के सत्तारूढ़ दल से ही हैं, और जिस तरह से बीजेपी सवाल उठाती है, तो नोट तो सामने दिख रहे हैं, लोगों को लगता है कि ये पैसा है भ्रष्टाचार का.
देखिए, बात यह है, भ्रष्टाचार का पैसा किसके पास से पकड़ा गया, उस पर कार्रवाई करिए. हेमंत सोरेन के पास पकड़ा गया है क्या?
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. तो साफ तौर पर दिग्विजय सिंह जो अपील कर रहे हैं कि लोगों से वो आएँ और मतदान करें, और जो अलग अलग मुद्दे हैं उन पर उनका यही कहना है कि जो चुनाव के बीच में इस तरह के मुद्दे सामने आ रहे हैं, जिसको लेकर के नहीं, अपने स्थानीय मुद्दे को लेकर ही लोग वोट करें. भोपाल से अपने कैमरा सहयोगी रिजवान खान के साथ अनुराग द्वारी, NDTV.
And moving now to the other big face on NDTV, former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Bhupesh Baghel. Remember, Chhattisgarh completes polling today, so it's one of the few states that has completed vote. But let's listen in to what Bhupesh Baghel told NDTV after casting his vote.
पूरे परिवार के साथ मैंने वोट डाला है और बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। पूरे परिवार के साथ आके मतदान केंद्र में वोट डालें और हमारे मतदान केंद्र में तो 90% मतदान हो चुका है।
क्या लग रहा है, अभी तीसरा चरण चल रहा है, अब तीसरे चरण में आते आते गठबंधन की क्या स्थिति ओवरऑल और छत्तीसगढ़ में कांग्रेस की क्या है?
देखिए, प्रथम और द्वितीय चरण के बाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी 400 पार कहना भूल गया है। वो फिर मुस्लिम लीग और मंगलसूत्र और गाय भैंस तक के पहुंच गए थे। अब वो भी अब नहीं कह पाएंगे। उनकी स्थिति तीसरे चरण के बाद तो बहुत कुछ स्थिति स्पष्ट हो गया है।
दाऊदी, ये एक राधिका खेड़ा का मामला चल रहा है आपके यहाँ पे छत्तीसगढ़ से खासकर।
देखिए, राधिका खेड़ा की स्क्रिप्ट लिखा गया था और वो उसी हिसाब से उन्होंने रोल प्ले किया और आज वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी में शामिल हो रही हैं। इस प्रकार से ब्रेकिंग न्यूज़ चल रहा था, तो ये पूरा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कहे अनुसार ही सब वो कर रही थी।
रायबरेली और अमेठी की जिम्मेदारी, एक बड़ी जिम्मेदारी मिली है आपको छत्तीसगढ़।
कल मैं उड़ीसा के प्रचार में जाऊंगा, 2 जगह कार्यक्रम है और उसके बाद मैं 9 तारीख को रायबरेली जा रहा हूँ, वहाँ कैंप करूँगा।
बिल्कुल, तो ये पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री भूपेश बघेल वोट कास्ट करने के बाद दावा भी कर रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस अब बेहतर स्थिति में है और गठबंधन की सरकार बनेगी। हालांकि रिजल्ट क्या होगा ये 4 जून को परिणाम के साथ ही सामने आ जाएंगे।
11 states, 93 constituencies going to polls. It's a phase 3. It marks the halfway of elections. Over 282 seats would have voted after 5 p.m. today. And big faces in the fray. You have Amit Shah, Supriya Sule, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Digvijay Singh, all these big faces in the fray. In fact, Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah cast their vote in the morning in Ahmedabad. And of course, other big faces also. You had Akhilesh Yadav casting his vote. Dimple Yadav there as well with him. She's a candidate from Mainpuri, which is an interesting seat in Uttar Pradesh. In Madhya Pradesh, of course, interesting battles there. In Chhattisgarh, you had Bhupesh Baghel, Chirag Paswan, as you can see from Bihar, casting their votes. So certainly a high stakes battle today in this particular phase. Our reporters are spread across the country, and joining me now is Prabhakar from Madhepura in Bihar. I'll also be joined by other reporters. Radhika Ramaswamy is reporting from Gujarat. Aishwarya there as well. Nihal is joining us from Hubli as well. Prabhakar, going across to you first. Bihar, as I always say, is one of the states that is still very exciting. It could go either way. Where you are, of course, Madhepura, that's an interesting seat as well. What have been some of the key issues on the top of the voters' mind today?
Yeah, exactly, and to know that actually we have been hearing the political rhetorics and how the voters decide their preferences. But I am joined today at one of the polling stations at Madhepura by the first-time voters. They are the youngsters with me, and they are here to cast their vote for the first time. So let's hear from them as to how they decide their preferences. आप बताओ कि जब आप वोट देने जाते हो तो क्या आप लोगों का, नेताओं का जो है भाषण सुन के वोट डिसाइड करते हो या आपका अपना कुछ एजेंडा होता है?
नॉट एग्जैक्टली। सबसे पहली बात, हम लोग टीवी पे बहुत सारा न्यूज़ देखते रहते हैं एंड सोशल मीडिया और मोहल्ले में सबकी बातें सुनते रहते हैं एंड खुद का भी कुछ थाट्स होते हैं नेताओं को।
बट आपके एजेंडास क्या होते हैं, आपके प्रेफरेंसेस क्या होते हैं? आप सोशल मीडिया से इन्फ्लुएंस होते हो, कुछ अपना दिमाग लगाते हो?
ये जो नेता शिक्षा के तौर पे जो ज़्यादा करते हैं उसी के तौर देख के।
थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए आप।
तो शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में जो ज़्यादा विकास करते हैं उसी को देख के।
आप बताओ, क्योंकि दिस जनरेशन इज़ अ सोशल मीडिया जनरेशन। आप इंस्टाग्राम और फेसबुक और ट्विटर पे इन्फ्लुएंस होते हो, तो आप उसी से डिसाइड करते हो अपना वोट कि आपके कुछ अपने भी एजेंडाज होते हैं, कुछ प्रेफरेंसेस होते हैं?
नो सर, एक मिनट सर, मेरा नाम रानी कुमारी है और मैं फर्स्ट टाइम वोटिंग करने आई हूँ। ओके, तो सर हम लोग अभी ये पॉलिटिक्स का कोई आइडिया नहीं है हम लोग को, तो हम लोग स्टूडेंट लाइफ में जो गवर्नमेंट द्वारा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही अभी वोटिंग कर रहे हैं और कोई आइडिया नहीं है इस टॉपिक पे हम लोग को।
आप बताओ, आप कुछ बोलने वाली थी?
नहीं, नो सर, सेम हम लोग को अभी कोई आइडिया नहीं है, फर्स्ट टाइम ही वोट दे रहे हैं। तो जो स्टूडेंट लाइफ में जो बेनिफिट हम लोग को मिल रही है, जो उसी के they're making it clear that it's not the social media which actually decides their preference. One sad news which is coming from here is that the temperature this time is actually in a very supportive mode, and unlike the first two phases, it's very pleasant here as weather wise. But the polling station behind me, you can see, is lying vacant. So the polling percentage, unfortunately, is not picking up. It's almost 1:30 now, and
the polling percentage is stuck somewhere around 35%. So, seeing the temperature, seeing the pleasant weather, we were hoping that the polling percentage this time would actually pick up, but unfortunately, it's not happening that way.
Prabhakar, thanks very much for joining us with that. There's a lot of first-time voters there, but of course, as you said, voter turnout not seeming too impressive there in Madhepura and Bihar, where Prabhakar is. Going across to you also, Himanshu sir, Agra, very interesting there. It's a reserved constituency. You have SP Baghel there in the fray. And Agra, usually has been a Congress bastion, but in the past 20 decades, it either has been the BJP or the SP coming to power in Agra. But tell us what you're seeing around.
Well, in 2009, 2014 and 2019, BJP owned this Lok Sabha seat 3 times consecutively, and this time SP Singh Baghel is in fray again for the second time. Interestingly, in Agra Lok Sabha seat, in 2019 when the last Lok Sabha elections were held, SP and BSP had joined hands, and there was a thinking that the Jatav vote, which is very, very crucial here, because Agra is the Dalit capital of UP politics, and there are around 3.5 lakh Jatav voters here, around 3 lakh Muslim voters. And the thinking was that if BSP and SP join hands, then they can give a contest to the BJP, but it did not happen in 2019. And this time, Mayawati has decided to go alone in these elections, and Sapa also has decided to go alone. I have with me Naseem, the NDTV journalist in Agra, who has been covering this politics, this caste and political arithmetic in Agra for many years now. This time, interestingly, both BSP and Samajwadi Party have fielded a Jatav candidate. Now, will this divide the Dalit vote here in Agra, as widely known as the Dalit capital of UP politics?
बिल्कुल, देखिए, जो समाजवादी पार्टी ने इस बार सोचा कि आगरा चूंकि दलितों की राजधानी है, हमेशा से बीएसपी का एक गढ़ रहा है, और समाजवादी पार्टी ये अच्छी तरह जानती थी कि जब 2 विधानसभा के चुनाव हुए, 2007 वाले हों, 12 वाले हों, तो उसमें बीएसपी का अच्छा एक वो रहा था, एक बार 7 विधायक जीते, एक बार 6, तो उन्होंने कहा कि क्यों ना यहाँ पर एससी सीट पर दलित, वो भी जाटव समाज का उम्मीदवार बनाया जाए, जिसकी वजह से बसपा के जो वोट बैंक है उसमें सेंध कैसे लगाई जा सकती है। तो इसी को लेकर अखिलेश यादव ने यहाँ एक दलित चेहरा जाटव उम्मीदवार सुरेश सिंह कदम को प्रत्याशी बनाया, इस वजह से कि वो बसपा के वोट बैंक में सेंध लगाते हैं। तो मुझे लगता नहीं है कि वो ज़्यादा कामयाब हो सकते हैं इसमें, क्योंकि पॉलिसी तो ठीक थी उनको कि जाटव वोट लेकर के मुस्लिम प्लस एंड यादव लेकर कामयाब हो सकते हैं, लेकिन दलित वोट जो है एक बड़ा तबका है, 3.5 लाख पॉपुलेशन है जो वोटर है आगरा के अंदर, वो दलित वोट हमेशा से बसपा के साथ रहा है। इस बार भी वो समाजवादी पार्टी के जाटव प्रत्याशी जो हैं, उनको लगता नहीं है, मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो उसको वोट करेंगे।
There is one important thing that Mayawati had said when she came here to campaign. Vedant, remember, for Mayawati, Agra is one of the most important, politically most important seat. In 2022 elections, assembly elections, she had actually launched her campaign from Agra, and this time also she campaigned here. And I'll ask just one last question to Naseem Bhai. मायावती ने ये कहा था कि हमने सभी समाज के लोगों को रिप्रेजेंटेशन दिया है। आपने कहा कि समाजवादी पार्टी की रणनीति थी कि जाटव और मुस्लिम वोट को मिला के वो एक चुनौती बीजेपी को दे सकते हैं यहाँ पर, जो बीजेपी का गढ़ बन चुका है। मुस्लिम वोट क्या एकजुट रहता है? करीब 3 लाख मतदाता हैं मुस्लिम यहाँ पर, या मुस्लिम वोट बटता भी, अगर बटता है तो फिर फ़ायदा तो बीजेपी को होगा?
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही बात है कि मुस्लिम वोट है ना, 2022 का विधानसभा चुनाव था, उसमें समाजवादी पार्टी को पूरा जिस तरह से गया है पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में, मुझे लगता नहीं कि इस बार लोकसभा चुनाव में मुसलमान इंडिया गठबंधन समाजवादी पार्टी कांग्रेस की तरफ जा रहा है। हर जगह क्षेत्रीय पार्टी के को लेकर के, हम आगरा की बात करते हैं, आगरा में भी मुसलमान जो है समाजवादी पार्टी, बसपा और कहीं कहीं 1% जो SP सिंह बघेल के बहुत खास हैं, तो बीजेपी की तरफ भी मूव कर रहा है। ऐसे ही आगरा जो फतेहपुर सीकरी लोकसभा है, वहाँ पर जो बीजेपी के बागी का प्रत्याशी हैं चौधरी रामेश्वर, जाट समाज से आते हैं, राजकुमार चाहर की चुनौती बने हुए हैं, वहाँ भी मुसलमान जो है वो निर्दलीय प्रत्याशी के पास भी जा रहा है, कांग्रेस के उम्मीदवार हैं उनके तरफ भी जा रहा है और बसपा की तरफ भी जा रहा है। तो मुसलमान लगता नहीं है कि मुसलमान एक जगह वोट पड़ रहा है। मुसलमान बटने की वजह से बीजेपी फायदेमंद साबित हो रही है।
So very clearly, very interesting politics in Agra, new political and caste arithmetic which clearly has made the politics and elections very, very interesting, Vedant, in this time in Agra seat.
Right, Himanshu. So interesting that Naseem Bhai says that, the Muslim consolidation perhaps is not really a possibility, because that's what the BSP is looking at, the consolidation of the Jatav and the Muslim vote. Nevertheless, Himanshu sir, do bring some Agra ka petha for us when you're back in Delhi. And because, of course, elections are all about street food. Also, Agra, very, very interesting when it comes to reporters' delight, really. Thanks very much for that. But going across to you now, Nihal. Today in Karnataka, it's the Lingayat heartland that's really going to the polls. What is the Prajwal Revanna case? How much of it do you see playing out as far as the BJP-JDS alliance is concerned, particularly in this particular area, North Karnataka, which the BJP is really looking at to make a dent?
See, in 2019, all the 14 seats where polling is happening today were won by the BJP. Today I spoke to Prahlad Joshi. I asked him about the impact of Prajwal Revanna sex scandal in the polling. What he told me that Prajwal Revanna was picked up by the JDS. JDS is an ally of the NDA, and the BJP had not selected Prajwal Revanna, and therefore BJP should not be questioned that why Prajwal Revanna was given the ticket. Now there is all the 14 seats where the polling is happening now. None of the seats are being contested by the JDS, because JDS were given 3 seats and polling got over there on 26th itself. So the BJP has sidelined itself from the entire scandal. All the big leaders of the BJP, they are not opening up, they are not saying anything about this. What they are saying, the SIT examination, SIT investigation is going on, the matter is sub judice, and that's why they don't want to speak. But Kumaraswamy today held a press conference. He had previously distanced himself from the entire episode. He had said that both the families live separately. Though Revanna is the elder brother, still he is not aware about the affairs of the family. But today he stood by Prajwal Revanna. He complained that it was police and the district administration that has helped in the distribution of pen drives. Almost 8,000 pen drives were found at several places in Hassan. But here I don't see that any big impact of this pen drive scandal. But yes, Neha murder case is something that is having some sort of impact, not only in Hubli Dharwad but also in Koppal, Haveri and Belgavi.
Right, Nihal, thanks very much for joining us with that. Of course, Hubli also in a very interesting constituency. As you said, the Neha murder case could have an impact on how voters are casting their ballot there. We'll take a short break now, but this remains our top focus on NDTV. But also do remember, it's our responsibility, our privilege to vote. And NDTV has launched the Pledge to Vote campaign with the support of top corporate leaders.